We've been monitoring minor changes since the attack in the avenue, and we're getting nothing of the note. There's one spot near the tree with a chance of working as the entrance to its interior, however. You know how it's originally the huge building in the center of the city. It's always possible that there could be underground roads in the vicinity. But I'd like you to proceed with caution. They may well be a trap. Where are we? Well done making it here, heroes who seek to cling to the king's treasure. What are you doing, Mr. Jackpot? You do not get to come up odd monikers for me, mongrel. Right now I do not stand before you as a king. Here I govern. Solely wealth and power, nothing beyond. Consider me a traveler enjoying the local casino in his spare time. A casino? My king built one of those in the summertime desert. Was gambling an activity also enjoyed in the city of Uruk? I wouldn't know. My subjects might have amused themselves with such games, but I had no need for them. The very world was essentially my treasury. Valuable was leaving my wallet merely to enter it again counts not as win or loss. We did have a few board games in our time, but Gil enjoyed them for the contest of intellect rather than the gambling. He enjoyed testing others, but never felt his own luck being tested. Not to mention that he would always win due to how the golden rule favored him. You could say Gil is fundamentally too capable to gamble. Maybe it could be said that he enjoys it only for the aesthetics. The very opposite. The gambling halls, saturated with the joys and despairs of the mongrels indulging in wealth, grew increasingly more oriented in attempts to grab my attention. Your attention sounds very grab. Wrong, clown. I did what any man of wealth would, an act of mercy and respect to their laudable conduct. His confidence never fails to impress, and crosses the line into becoming a likable attitude. Regardless, this place is geographically located underground below the building, entangled by the great ephemeral tree. Would it be possible to enter the tree from here? Oh, you asked me to waste my spare time living before your pointless battle. I'm willing to take you on in this bet. However, the chip you wager here shall be your lives, and I don't think you can. You already busted a path to open before, but only caused the nearby roots to fortify their defenses. You truly love to throw a damper in the plans of others. Sorry, there. I had to intervene because if I didn't, Master was liable to genuinely stake his life. The infamous wise king would never do anything of the sort, but I see no king here with me. Only a wealthy man on vacation. Indeed. In this room I am neither wise nor king, but it takes nerve to count me as a fool incapable of proper dialogue. They know each other so well. You've already been warned back when I contacted Ephemeros. To get either the greater grill below or the tree top above, you must first damage the ephemeral tree. And for any attack to deal substantial damage, you'll need to have that divine air cleared. Aren't you the person for the job, Enkidu? Perhaps so. In terms of raw damage, I might indeed be able to penetrate it. Further, familiarity with the land would elevate my damage output, but we can't wait a whole days for it, can we? Still, it's not that simple. I know phantasm and gills are dangerous to use in the middle of the city. After the divine air disappears from the sky, the world will grow less rigid, then using them will be option. For what reason? The children will mistake our no phantasm for lightning, which frightens her, which would alert the roots of the dream, the girl's servant and guardian. I have a fatal weakness against her servant. If I happen to anger it, consider me dead on the spot. I could try to fight back, but that would be almost guaranteed to derail the dream world. Deplorable, when did servants come to be glorified parents to their master? That is rich coming from you. Rich is the word for me. But if you consider me your parent, be prepared. You might find yourself dropped down to the bottomless ravine before your first move. One question about the city's grill war. Yes, you guessed it correctly. I wasn't the only one. Gil was also summoned as the archer. The archer one at that? That is astounding. But Holy Grail wars are battle royales to the death if two of you were summoned to the same one. Yes, we made quite a spectacle clashing or no phantasm there in the desert. We could have picked a better way to greet each other, considering we left an awful glass crater in the sand. Large crater has indeed been identified in the observation data to the south of the city. What about the concealment of mystery, though? Did your masters do nothing to stop you? A gas company took the fall for the accident. My master didn't particularly mind. For a lord handing Jack the Ripper's knife to a student, and now this. Is there a single same person in your timeline? Not to the main point. That wasn't the main point? Sorry there, you can't expect me to know what this world's clock tower was up to. The main consequence of this exchange was Gil getting himself into scuffles with other demigods and the intruding divine spirit. Once that battle wrapped it with a total mutakill, the Black Lion made his run for the Greater Grail. Gil rarely ever travels to singularities. But considering another copy of him summoned elsewhere bears part of the blame, he came here to help us incognito. That is the Met Axeberg. I'm used to it, which doesn't mean the behavior pleases me. Don't you dare ridicule anyone based on the drive my friend's mind conjures. I do acknowledge I shouldn't have done it, and for that I'll change the subject. Using my movable phantasm to shatter the boundary would, in truest sense, be a gamble. Even if the world remains intact, there is no telling how much stress it inflict on the girl dreaming it. By my estimates, the odds of us succeeding without harming the world or the girl are low as 38.4%. That's quite the exact number, and those are relatively favorable odds as far as gambling goes. I would rather not gamble at all. You know that odds are rarely ever 100%, everything is a gamble. In our times, gambling was seen less as an exchange of wealth and more as a religious practice to estimate your luck. Before it became only a matter of trusting chance. There were days where life and death came down to the whims of the gods. Life itself was a constant gamble. In that sense, the way you live is far closer to an citizen than someone of your own time. I did a lot of working in Longer, I have one question. Do you intend to stop that boy John's tantrum? I absolutely have to. Then do well to answer me. Have you written any form of narrative? If service fists count, dojin counts. Indeed, it does. What allows on my part? Disregard the question. Did the child claiming to be king not mention the subject of his revenge to be every possible form of storytelling? He is correct to say that epics and other such romanticization rewrote much of the past for the later ages. You must have seen even our own epic causing tumult with the men of the present over the new tablet existing. What are your thoughts? Do you desire the spread of distorted facts for your own pace and the peace of the human order? It will be easy to refute the child for your own survival. After all, his aim is to harm the human order. However, you seek to surpass him rather than merely ruining him. Then you must find your moral high ground over him. Senpai, I'm not an author, but I have always been writing reports. Yuki, I can't say I have the resolve to overwrite something. I don't want the memories I choose to write about. Reports that would indeed count as a subjective storytelling. I suppose it may give you a passing mark. Then take this reward from a vacationing man. I shall tell you of one of the city's touristic spots. A touristic spot. Say Chaldea. Have you ever taken interest in it? Descent to the underworld. The army hadn't taken them for riffraff, unable to appreciate the delights of transscience. Backing away without a word, ever headache bunch. Are you not going to speak your mind? A wealthy man here to spend his leisure time. Is your job to spend your fortune on fine adjustments to prevent the entire city from collapsing in the upcoming battle? In this era, the wealthy are considered powerful. There will be no need for me to revise the definition of strength. Very true. Anything else may change, Gil, but you still stay the same. You, however, seem to have changed some. I'm considering trying out something new. Let's see how well I play at this casino. Oh, I wouldn't suggest that. You're unsuited for gambling, for the opposite reasons as I. Do you not count cards automatically while also capable of estimations precise enough to accurately predict a spinning roulette's outcome? Is that not allowed? It's over for me then. So, to quote my own words, life itself was a constant gamble. This idea may have never crossed my mind during my lifetime. But I suppose our act of clearing that forest was a decent boost to humanity's odd. I don't care, that was all unrelated to our intention. As postscripted as our very presence here today. It's finally happening, Master. Time for a dinner party organized by that literary master, Alexander Dumas. Moreover, it will be a format where they showcase their cooking to one another. I've called on the servants residing in Chaldea who are adept at cooking, but there was so little notice. Even though the limitation to ratio has been relaxed, I'm not sure how many will actually show. I remember times like this. No Emiya? It's truly a distinguished lineup with everyone cooking. I'm sure that even Demas will walk away satisfied. It was a shame that Parvati being a divine spirit couldn't be compatible. Huh? Voices coming from the dining hall. And that's why I call it tasty. Each new plate you bring out, you're changing up the ratio of pepper and ginger in a sake coming with it, eh? And it ain't only the same, even in the same dishes. You got the spice blend change between the plates, served it earlier and later. That consideration of simply adjusting to our appetites as the meal goes on is amazing. Makes me think I could really eat my fill. Music to my ears. This method is something my brothers and me came up with when I was a chef at a royal palace. If you like it, that's great. And you got a hell of an appetite on you. If you think you can eat quicker than I can cook, don't hold back on my account. They've already started. That explains the delicious smell, which wafted all the way down the corridor. Look at that. The cooks from Chaldea who save a growling stomach before saving the world make their triumphant entrance. Hey there, Master. You're about to head into battle, right? Don't hold back your appetite either. Eat, drink, and you know the rest. Behema, you arrived ahead of us, didn't you? Of course I did. Seeing as this was about serving up some food, I couldn't sit still and end up coming by first. By chance, or as always, Emiya was over in the cafeteria, so I made him take along. He didn't do me any favors. Some of us need more time to prep until these impatient types show up. Emmy, I was dead certain that you put it in appearance. Sure. As far as ingredients, I was most worried about thanks to a certain man. Preparation somehow worked out. Which certain man? Who else but me? Caesar! My. Seeing as the campaign in that place has died down, there's no reason for me to continue lingering in the wilderness. Matters like magical energy analysis and land surveys are for other people. What I should focus on is for the good of unending gourmet pursuits to use my personal wealth for providing ingredients. Of course, the arrangement is set so that not a single sister, will go to waste. How, though, is a state secret. Amazing. Every last ingredient is fresh. I wonder if they were sourced from the Queen of Sheba. Such a donation of meat and duetto from the Roman general. If I combine it with the seasonings piled up atop Turusk, it seems like I could prepare anything. I know with all this, I'm sure even a gourmet like Demas would be delighted. There are more ingredients to come. I shall take my seat as a judge, so feel free to show off your skills without restraint. You should know that I am quite particular about gourmet food at these gatherings. Not that I have become famous in the culinary world, like Epictetus. But as a general, it's only natural that my tongue be as discerning as my eyes. Even if the great waiter over yonder gives his approval, it cannot be called a true victory without pleasing my palate. Now, good chefs, the past success outdoors to break new ground with your talents. It wasn't supposed to be a cooking contest, but now a judge appeared. It is no longer solely between chefs, but a heated dogfight of ingredients. Every dog has his horse deliver. Fine, you are cordially invited to a dazzling Manchuhan but in cook. A craft fest with confections any sly fox could scarf down. Cook him well, done on the burning pillar while in the pit of snakes, or hang him rare by the deer terrace. The eyes of the often insane cat are frightening enough. But surely she isn't looking at me like another ingredient. What's on your mind, Emiya? While it may be out of concern, I have one thing to bring up. It's about today's guest of honor. Off enjoying Bima's Indian cuisine over there at the table. Alexander Dimas Perrier. The man is a gourmet who doesn't hesitate to spend money to satisfy his stomach and taste buds. However, he is not the type who simply seeks a full-course meal made up of luxurious ingredients. No, he would probably savor eating that just as much, but it doesn't seem like that's all he understands about food. While Bima was preparing his court dishes, I served some rolled omelette for appetizer. That was delicious. First, I add up thanks to the ingredients and to you. Japanese kaiseki, the traditional multi-course fare. Now, I mean, yeah, I might serve it at your guy's place, but this seems like a dish that's widely enjoyed at home. The balance with the sweetness is good stuff too. The sugar acts on the protein, coagulated, improving both the texture and the bite. Plus, could be a tedious observation, but this rolled dashi maki tamago omelette thing. The first time you made this was probably in what Japan calls a bento, right? Not only for yourself. You adjusted. It's good to suit the taste of a few folks, creating this flavor and texture. That's the feeling I get. The master Chaldea, the staff there, the servants. Now it feels like you've been used to making this for a bunch of people over a much longer time. You can pick on that much. I don't suppose you even have the power to read a cook's past from their food. Magecraft tricks like those are beyond me, but I can tell how serious you're about cooking. You don't seem like a top-notch chef, but there's no difference in skill or social standing. It's all a matter of humility. You handle everything competently, but when it comes to home cooking, you're an expert who cheat beyond any chef. Quite a dish. This rolled omelette, my compliments, make this seat worthwhile. It may have been overstatement to say about a single appetizer, but I'll gladly accept any comments to do with cooking. He's faithful to food and never lies about it. If we prepare virtually anything with sincerity, he's likely to enjoy it. And while he's Doubtlessly a veteran of French dining, he still eats BGM dishes with his hands when appropriate. He even ate the royal omelette skillfully with chopsticks. There's no doubting his deep understanding of food culture. That is precisely why merely serving good dishes will probably only result in a satisfaction score of 95 points. 95 points. Of course, that's more than enough should you find that acceptable. Conversely, unless you cut corners, he'll do as good a good job, even if the score ends up suffering. He's probably the kind of person who faithfully returns a favor when it comes to food. Therefore, from here on, it depends on Master's expectations. Even so, if you still want to entertain him further, additional seasoning will be necessary. If there's a likelihood that the reward might change depending on that, it could be worth exploring, even if you don't know why. Going to such a place on purpose must mean you feel it to be necessary for resolving the singularity, I'm sure. It's something like a hunch. Old friends don't need one. You, Master, should do whatever strikes you as the right thing. Of course, if what you need is help in the kitchen, I'll lend a hand, as much as necessary. Until then, I suppose I'll do some cleaning around here. I'll pitch in. Got it. This is a rare dinner gathering. Think of this as light premium excise. Now we clean up Emiya's mess. Now this is where we show what we can do. Let's get fired up before beginning, Tursk. For sure, I'll do my best, big sis. That guy, I feel like he's looking at me with the kind of eyes that think, I wonder what he tastes like. Spooky. Feels like that general is looking at me the same way. No, not like that. He's figuring how much I sell for. Spooky. Here you go, some gingerbread to cleanse the palate. Oh, thanks, Sponge. To be served home cooking by the one and only Queen of Victory. It feels like I've come a long way. If you're going to bring up such a grandiose nickname, it will only make me blush. It's not as though the gingerbread would taste any different. Of course it'll be different. With cooking, you can add a story to each and every meal. That's another kind of spice. Sometimes the tastiest when you eat on your lonesome, other times when you eat with a lot of people you're sharing good times with. You gotta experience both, better yet, experience lots more diverse ways of eating. Me, I'm greedy when it comes to food. From the vibe you give off, you do seem like a born foodie. As for me, I think what's best is a dish that the whole family can share. Not that I just like the current atmosphere either. Even then, tastes differ from person to person. I can tell you're certain that this gingerbread is delectable, thanks. I'll say, especially after eating a boatload of caloric Indian food. Here, I got something just as gentle on the stomach. Francis, weren't you supposed to be heading out to patrol another area? What, really? You can't even cook? First glance, it looks like a milk porridge. This aroma. A milled barley, a red wine, honey with. This ain't cow's milk, it's goat milk cheese. No shit, could this be the legendary KyECtnz? Drop the spoon, do you miss? Whoa. Oh, how did I give myself away? I had met Atti's remnants before, so I should have been able to disguise myself perfectly. Serving a dish like that is practically confessing. Eating this will turn me into a pig. Sounds like it might be a fascinating experience at least. You can be sure that it will have an effect at some point, so it'll probably be best to refrain. Too bad. You still ate it? Don't count your blessing before they hatch. The pizza dogs are out of the bag. Come closer. Savor to your heart's content to deliver experience from Sincere Lane, personally delivered by kitchen knife wielding Mistress Benny Emma. Tip the morning monologue and the promptly hand the cutter hit plate. Nice, I rarely got the chance to eat cuisine from the Far East. Gotta be grateful that here my palate can be newly indulged. Oh, seafood sashimi. The way it's presented is a sight for sore eyes. By simply looking at the sheen on the cut surface, you can tell the skill of the knife work. Oh, you even got octopus sashimi. I know there are people who diff like raw fish or octopus. I will not compel you to eat. Nothing to it, you whip something up with this degree of skill. It's not going with Diogenes in his barrel. Delicious. I ate fried octopus in Naples, but this is a different kind of flavor. It's neither carpaccio nor marinated soy sauce and Japanese horse radish. Real wasabi, that is. Though it's a condiment from the same mustard family, this stuff native to Japan's got a different taste. Iksuki. If it's palatable, then all the better. In Chaldea, I had quite a few chances to experience foraging cooking methods. All I done is put out the outcome with practice. So you recall Benny Emma. I do have some knowledge of the Oriental underworld, so maybe I ought to show better respect. No need. If you convert normally to general and royalty, it would be strange to only speak politely for me. Ya got me there. In that case, I'll purely respect ya as a chef. You're genuinely amazing. The craft alone as impressive as all gets out. But how much knowledge has ya collected? Not to mention reactions from clients. Good if it happens are quite the aficionado. You boldly potted my wrong and weak point. If that's not enough, it don't seem like you intend to give it up. Maybe you plan to live forever, keeping up with your times. You could try managing combination of alcohol and ingredients by your sense of smell, but as we know, the number of variety is enormous. When it comes to Western liquor, though, you can generally nail the schools of taste and aroma. You never need information, but that fueled at any time. For which I am grateful. The path of cooking, if a path to hell, long as people are here to walk it. Devotion to cooking can never end. I probably can't contribute since I still can't drink. So has everyone generally finished their dishes? We also ate our share, and as expected, I'll push that ahead a bit. One extra person just reshifted to you. Directly into the police station, seeing how it's dangerous outside. It took some time on account of the finer tuning. Another person, just who could it be? It is me. New director? I'm Rio, really. I can probably count my reshift on one hand, but as it happens, I had a strong attitude this time as well. If it means I can lend a hand in preventing destruction for the world, then, as one might expect, I'm obliged to do so. This seems promising. The new director's cooking is redefined enough to make any heroic spirits groan with admiration. I'm sure even demons will be satisfied. Look at that. You're the guy who first talked to me over the horn that read my dictionary of cuisine, huh? Interesting. Let's see what you got. You have me wondering how well you can cook. No, honestly, it's troubling to be expected to show upscale flavor. Considering that what I am about to prepare is steak made from spoiled meat. Steak from spoiled meat? Wait, he must have a plan with this. Is this what I think it is? Could it be a plan to make them feel sick and then brainwash them while pretending to nurse them back to health? If that's the case, I strongly recommend Kakaion as a safer option. Enough, even if I try pulling that off, there's no chance of it succeeding. That beef you got ready over there is definitely starting to go bad. It doesn't seem like it's undergoing an aging process either. But I don't think it's being done with psych me out. You're gonna try some trick with it, right? Aye, what I'm about to do is more cheating than cooking. But I believe it's sensible considering a meal warfare. Huh? The new director is using Magecraft. It's being restored? I don't believe it. The lean meat that should have been restored has even started developing marbling. It doesn't seem like time has been reversed either. It's an application of music family tradition, but nothing with any place in the domain of the 5 magic. However, it is true that it is a preparatory process that cannot be easily done without Magecraft. Well, that piqued my interest. What I left is a little of this end. There, please help yourselves. Are you okay with this new mess? I'll eat it. You got nothing to say. Nah, it was delicious. Had a lot on my mind, so I ended up going on quiet. The flavor of the fat reminds me of Japanese black, but the aroma is closer to Chinina. It's the firmness of the lean bit like off sailor's breed. I see, Magecraft stuff really works wonders. Raw lean meat can actually become marbled. In fact, adjusted to a unique balance where it's been reborn with the taste of a new kind of meat altogether. I never expected you'd be able to guess all the breeds of Kato with taste and aroma I made my goal. This spell is still underdeveloped, and I need to continue searching for a combination that produces meats far more delicious. For that reason, if you call it unrefined, then I must concede. I gotta know, why did you create Magecraft like this? How is a family secret, I guess, but can you tell me your motivation? Since I was involved in my own Holy Grail War, I get some sense of modern-day Magus families to some extent. Your family ain't aiming for the root, though, cooking, are they? Oh, then you want to hear my story. Here are the extraordinary hardships I endured on that snow-covered mountain, which led me to develop this spell. Passionate speech ongoing. On the terror of the snowy mountains. The oncoming hunger. Murmur, lamentations, and finally prayers. Very impassioned speech 20 minutes in. And that's how it went. Thank you for your kind attention. Bravo, you are amazing. Today's dishes were all tasty and they satisfied both my tongue and stomach. But with your story, I went beyond even satisfaction. But a tale of the adventure. Those are features of his Dictionary of Cuisine and other essays. There are also the recipes and heuristics of the ingredients, of course. But equally important, or more important, for some entries are addendums. These are the countless stories related to ingredients and cooking. Furthermore, they show an intuition for the unknown and for the continued evolution of cuisine. Therefore, I spoke on processing ingredients using Magecraft and my own experience with regards to why that came about. Still, the memories of this thing there would disappear, so it likely won't qualify as breaking the concealment of mystery. 90% of it had to do with the story of hardships in the mountain, rather than mystery. I'll be damned, you really did read my dictionary. Cooking to me is entertaining, it's a science, and it's also history. Put bluntly, it's one of humanity's oldest story, always with us. I may have said it before, but I think the moment this progress stops will be the end for your human evolution. By the way, it was impressive as hell how you made preparing the meat look so easy. You slice the meat with a bread knife and finish it with seasoning and roasting. Your cooking was fantastic, both the meat and conversation. 100 points for ya. Okie dokie, guess I'll serve some of my own. I'll be boiling ingredients seasoning in the terrace kitchen. Enjoy my food. Becoming a servant ain't too bad after all. Now then, guess it's possible I ate a little too much. Nice work, everyone. Oh, some coffee. Sorry for the trouble. Guess I'll accept. You know, the spice makes sneezing in this coffee. And I recall reading about that in my dictionary or essay. There is someone who I educated about drinking it like this, though. Is he there over in Chaldea? That fairy tale writer who comes off like a boiled down screwball. He's there. I was wondering why you directed to a call to me here. What's that do mess? Is that boiled down eccentric playwright really in that Snowfield place? Some say speak of the devil, but to trigger it so easily, external give me a break. But that man being a servant, his master must be reeling with headaches trying to cover the extravagant food expense. No, I won't be going. I was a coffee buddy for him, but not much more. I know him enough that we aren't total strangers, and precisely due to that, I can predict his pull up. If he sees me in the states I'm in, he's likely to laugh out loud without a moment of consideration. And when he does, I won't hesitate to hit him with a dropkick. After that, it'll be a huge fracas. He must have some role that he's meant to fill. I shouldn't interfere with that. What's something that demons would appreciate and that even you could prepare? Fine, I'll give you a special blend for coffee. It's a special recipe I like to drink when wrapping up my work. Tell him the best can make of his manifestation is to complete his grand dictionary. Then maybe I won't mind flipping through it. Come to think of it, the guy did outlive me. When you go back to Chaldea, you tell him to get off his ass and write the Marsh King's daughter too. So I ought to at least thank him for letting me drink something that brought back memories. Be it as it may, I thought about making a hero out of you, kid. My Novant has a musketeer masquerade. Doesn't seem like it would outdo what you made yourself. Just too many hero experience around you. No buffs in the tank. I can really serve you up at this point. Don't worry about me. Haha, thanks, I meant offer. As you know, honestly, I don't expect much in the way of combat from me. Okay? Look, there's still some dessert left on the table over there. You don't eat it fast. Old Caesar will scarf it all. Not when I still haven't had dessert. Yo, Count. You're not in his shadow at all anymore, are ya? Leaving nothing behind but a presence, like a tobacco smoke proof by a hard gun. Ain't that a little too suggestive? I don't really mind that you didn't come to me to deliver the send-off for the till. But are you planning to do the same to your old master? Damn it, you really gotta live with all that hardship you can, eh? On to the next chapter. Okay then, I suppose I'll start working. Not that I was never really unwilling to cooperate. I'm the type who lends a hand from the shadows all the way. But for anyone who goes to so much trouble to read me, as well as they did, guess this is how it's gonna be. Alright then, time to go pick a fight. A Donnybrook of Lifetime with Gods and Tyrant in the other corner. I mean, Dante's already gone. Two? What do you mean that two? I only seen one though. Oh, there was one here. Why was the request hidden over there? The wind looks to be picking up. I'll adjust the windbreak here too, but be careful. My shield will protect you from flying signboards or cars, master. From this point, we'll be heading to the master's land outside the city. At first, during the war, it was a mansion that was the turf for blood-sucking magus. Are there any figures related to vampires in Chaldea? Some kind of phantasm, for instance, and her hunter, I guess. A princess? Sounds like a high-value specimen, but the one who hunt hematophagus, you mean to say an executor is there? Chaldea sure takes all corners, don't they? You guys stay in for a pound, no matter the risk. Over here, this way. The footing's poor, so be careful. I'm shocked to see such a large Western-style mansion in the middle of this much swamp. Huh, somehow the rain and wind have settled down. I don't suppose some kind of blessing is in fact around the place. They were kind of that can hold sway over water and storms. They should be just as compatible with dreams. Does that mean the person we'll find at our destination is being mindful of us? Better to call it a thing than a person. Damn, the storm was raging all the same back when I came here. Kind of think of it, the vampire magus who was in this mansion summoned that assassin Growly. I wonder what was in his head. All of a sudden, he started spouting nonsense like, with the power of the Holy Grail, I'll awaken a gargantuan monster spider. A gargantuan monster spider. Strange, I'm breaking out in an incredible sweat. Obviously, we all gained up on him first and asked him to leave. Even the assassin sided with us. So it was that utter gang beating. If he'd been human, maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal, but letting our holy grail or even humanity be messed with by bloodsuckers is out of the question. What became of the assassin servant? Right, I had her make a new contract with the mercenary spellcaster I hired. They risked their lives fighting desperately to protect the relic inside that mansion, and the girl center of the stream, who we talked about at the hospital. Our mercenary boy had low amount of magical energy, you know? She couldn't really make much use of her no phantasm either. So they would change into modern clothes and go on undercover investigation in the city. Even though she was an assassin, she really wasn't suited for that kind of stuff. Many rookie mistakes were made. But at least it made for a fun watch. They really tried their best to save that girl. Right, they risked their lives, past tense. And yet, both of them protected that girl to bitter end. The fact that this dream world marches on is living proof. And you all miraculously met the assassin's aftermath. You probably don't need to worry about her anymore, do you? I can't guess to what extent things will be undone by the amending of the singularity. But that and Shosho will spellcaster see, along with the assassin, whose spirit core was shattered and who was ready to vanish. At the very end, they left their hopes with me, of all people. They asked me to keep that girl safe. They wanted her to be saved, that girl who's the source of this dream world. They vowed that above their own lives. There was a time I had him as a disciple, but that spellcaster never asked for anything. When a boy like that makes such a heart-trending last request, well, you know. When they are still in the game, I won't budge an inch to help, even if destruction is at hand. I'll say hands off until the results come in. But once the outcome of a life is determined, it will depend on my mood. Just like when I created a hell on Earth with gills. Sure, let's stick together until the end, I said. Despite that, it meant giving up my life. The way you tell it seems this spellcaster and gills, the rise, have very different inclinations. And now that you mention it, they did. There are those who bring despair to children, and those who save children from despair. But for me, both directions are the same. Whether it's evil deeds or good deeds, if taken too far, both can treat into folly and harbor madness. I simply prefer to give that a nudge. To tell them they can take things as far as they please. That they can still take a step forward. I don't care whether the end of their world leads to glory or ruin, or even if dull, unchanging days are around the end. Even if it's at the edge of a cliff, knowing that I, who gave them the nudge, will fall along with them. At least in your case, if one of you tries stepping off a cliff, the other will likely risk their life to cushion the other. You can bet on that. If I really had to, I'd jump down first to catch Senpai at the bottom of the cliff. The way isn't my quite too dependable. And after catching him, you use the momentum to bring him down with a power slam. I never. Anyway, there's something those two kids driven by faith that boarded on foolish protected at the cost of their lives. There's a catalyst in here containing a different kind of godly emanation that's what's coming up, but there's not much time is left. It has almost no magic energy in the tank, but between fellow gods, we might be able to secure some kind of hint. Bad news, the roots spotted us. My battlefield managed to cover for us at the church, and I was making sure to be careful while on the move. As I fought, the eyes of the gods in the sky are linked into a great ephemeral tree. It had happened the moment we stepped into the swamp with no buildings around. Or maybe it sensed the presence of God and might go so far as to try to destroy the mansion, along with the callous and hidden inside. Move to intercept. Right away, taking interception posture.
鏡でも見えない大きさに変えられると思う？できちゃうんだな、これが。さあ、光より早くアトムにクロスミリアンフット。綺麗な花にはトゲがあると言うでしょ。私の場合は罠でしたね。
There we are, safe hidden behind the bookshelf. Woohoo, it's still in one piece. A crossbow. Yes, it seems sturdy built with no visible missing parts. It could still be perfectly functional as a weapon after all this time. Furthermore, I feel an exquisite pressure from it. So, but not unpleasant. It's hard to properly describe. Solemn but not unpleasant. I honestly have no clue whether I should celebrate that appraisal or lament that I have decayed to the point I can't refer in the nutrition of men. Bold of you to show your face, half-eaten fodder of the human order. The words of stain discarded by chief of the Western gods are beneath my ears. I'm in no mood to converse with you, so if you would, shut up, you rapper. Get a load of this guy. I can already tell you they suck. There's a mirror over in the other room. We have a shameless smartass with us. Good one, Yuki. The attitude is what makes us rivals for life. The topic of who is Master Rabbit is a subject of immense controversy, so refrain from mentioning it unless you want to debate to go on for hours at length. Excuse me, do you have anything to do with this crossbow? Oh, call me Zhao. I'm merely a scrap of ancient flesh stuck to this crossbow. You can see how timid I become, but I'm willing to endure this shame as a favor to you two of this as yet unknown caveat. Would you please dispel this singularity and save the girl who owns this dream? Our conversation may have been brief, but I developed a lasting affinity with her ways of life. Fading off without seeing her to safety would be far too unjust. Though I have no right to implore, as in the ancient times I was the denier attempting to inflict death on the seekers of immortality and immortal slaying. So you mean we have a weapon possessed by an entity capable of materializing itself? It's much like Ed. Well, with the gods involved, I should always have expected something in the ballpark. I'm not as impressive as you make me sound. I can only manifest because we are at what was originally my domain, a dream. My domain is nowhere else but the frontier between the dreams and the ocean. The frontier between dreams and the ocean. Add that to the previous comments about denial of immortality and the crossbow. That makes you Dajiao Yu. Whoa, my name is still known. You're making me bashful. Someone from Shifu and Shihang's story. Exactly, I didn't think you would know. A giant fish blocked Shifu first few attempts to seal the Penglai, and in most versions of the story, it was slain by Queen Shihang. Sometimes considered an avatar of the ocean itself, sometimes considered a festive divine dragon. One version tells of it taking human form in a dream. Hey, I heard my name just now. What's up with that? Are you bad-mouthing me? Or did Master and Mash need my help for anything? Master can take a flying leap for all I care, but if Mash needs help, I guess I must. But... who's that on the comm screen? Looks vaguely familiar. Have we met, or you want to really use stressors or something? Oh, but I remember you quite clearly. I see you still have that same one-track brain and track remains the same true ancestor. Thinking about the way you escaped Zhang with 3,000 rollers by your side makes me lose my mind. What the heck? Hello to you, jerk. I remembered. The chunky red shark that tried to wreck my ships to Penglai, and not satisfied with just that, later showed up in my dreams You drop preachy lectures for hours on end. You randomly stopped showing up one day, so I thought you got eaten by some orca or something, and I was done with you. There, you see? That's your mastermind of the singularity. Master, poison the seas. I can make you a natural eco-friendly toxin that will only work on them. Karia apologized for her behavior. I don't mind, it's true that I was preachy and that it took a great amounts of poison to bring me down. It is fair, because it's also true that I tried to make her sleep with the fishes. She has every right to resent me. There are reports about questionable validity, claiming that when the Emperor demanded the elixir immortality from Shifu, a large fish tried to bar his voyage. Its size varies widely from tail to tail, including one saying Shifu ships were buried by a fish over a kilometer long. Qin Shi Huang fought the fish avatar in a dream, while in the real world, the army killed the sea beast by firing over 1 million poison arrows. The most astounding part is that Shifu apparently didn't know, considering Zhang, Qin Shi Huang was practically moving mountains to help her set sail. I have to admit, resisting poison was not a challenge for me. Being slain in a dream was the real fatal blow. And the weapon Zhang, the one you know as Qin Shi Huang brought to his dream to kill me, was this crossbow. Our battle lasted for 1 night, in reality, but 10 years within the dream. The battle is so substantial that modern movie maker would need to adapt it as a trilogy. Surprising low-brow example of Dajiao. Oh well, I was slain by human hands, and the times changed. In the new age, I became a regular sea and blended into the schools of sharks. I heard that Qin Shi Huang also spent all his brutality on me, falling to the illness that would later take his life. Considering Shifu is in Korea, do you also have the Emperor too? Though not quite the same one you know, Joe. Have you called? Qin Shi Huang. Huh? Where'd Shifu go? Zen see her with pale face, rambling a list of incorrect excuses. Pay her no mind. Okay, now we got a special guest on the room. Ain't that the actual owner of this callous? The gal to believe that this music crossbow would suffice to summon Zen reveals how uncivilized and insolent the magi of this land are. Although if Zhao is who they actually fish up for their summon, they should consider themselves praised for the splendid catch. You think that is Qin Shi Huang? No, I can't believe that's actually Zhang. Are you Zhang? Why do you look like this? Why are you a Zenrin now? If you asked me, I would have guessed that you becoming a Zenrin would stabilize mankind so hard that it would close its door to the future. Your inability to perceive the reason why is further proof that very none of your power as a divine spirit remains. Quell your words, Yuki. There is no chance for this one to be the mastermind. They are not the kind to conceal their power in hopes of inviting your negations. Yet, they are not the one who Zen who expected to wish for the aid of a single human. Zen see that you are cut off entirely from the viewpoint of gods. Yes, and I have you to blame, but that was not as bad as I once feared. Karia, my interest in you has been intensified. Take this appearance and use it however you please. Can we really? Yes, all I want is to reward 2 souls. The 2 who extinguished their lives in the singularity to defend me, or rather, the 1 girl. Besides, I also believe that you who earned the trust of even Zheng and Shifu are ones who most fit to inherit their wish. Once more, I am Zhao. I may lack the power to dispel the divine air that fills the city, but I will at least serve as the pilot sailing you towards the power. Who goes there? A servant from Chaldea. You're considerably bad at hiding your presence. Even I, with nothing like presence detection, can clearly tell. Richard. You. No way, John. It's that you, John. It's been some time. Is that the right thing to say? Yeah, sometimes seems about right, perhaps, but why are you here? Oh, was it Chaldea? Is that why? I heard how your spirits from all over history gathered there. Then it figures you will be there too. You can match those two. They should have said something. I don't suppose that so-called August Philip is there as well. If he tries to pull anything, be sure to rely on your master. After talking and fighting alongside him enough, I get how adept he seems to at managing personal relationships. I even come to think that it would be great if the Master of Chaldea had been around during the Crusades. Dragging someone on that march would only be a nuisance. Have you forgotten about Lady Berengaris and her sister Joanne? Hardly I feel extra guilty about what I did to Berengaria and Joanne. I was even sure to conquer Cyprus for taking them prisoner. Anyway, those two had even taken down about 30 enemy soldiers. Oh, do you want something cold to drink? At your age, ale might be too strong. They got something called cola in the fridge, so I left a silver coin before borrowing some. And what a stimulating taste it has. I have to say, I caused you no shortage of trouble as well. After I died, there had to have been all that business with Philip and the church, I trust. No, it's nothing worth taking personally. You've more than atoned for it by dying twice, Richard. John? And this will make free. I see. Well, I suppose things like this do happen. As always, you don't resist or put up a fight, Richard. Well, I guess you do have every right to kill me, or so I believe. Worry no further, Lionheart. I'll speak my mind, John. You should have done this while I was alive. If you did, I could have kept my word to you. I'm telling you to say nothing more, brother. Haha, sorry, John, for making you act this way. Well ripped, Richard. I wonder when it was. When the moment was when my younger brother stopped smiling at me. Or maybe that was the last time. I recall his face on the verge of crying, better than him giving off an actual smile. It was when I returned from that great expedition. I was delayed over a year because that guy Leopold caught me, wasn't I? It seems he was excommunicated by His Holiness the Pope for imprisoning me, but even that was something of an overreaction. I mean, prison was the least I could expect for what I did. Honestly, I thought I would end up executed. Good to see you again, John. Well, well. Has the devil returned home to us? Happily, that blasted Philip must have sent you a missive denouncing me as such. What is purpose that could only come from him? Why do you know the contents of a letter meant only for my eyes? Never mind, I suppose it's only natural. After all, most of this castle ultimately sides with you. A devil, yes, the devil. I see one who tempts and corrupts others. From the perspective of the masses, I must seem much more like the devil for conspiring with another country to have my own brother taken captive. Aha, that's an amusing jest. No devil ever had a face as saintly as yours. Forget it. I'm too tired to even be angry, Richard. See, what will it be? The nose, the block, the stake? Stoning before dismemberment. No, considering this was high treason, it's reasonable to be drawn and quartered. Yes, in the end, St. George's was the sign of death, the opposite for me of what he was for you. What are we discussing? Some consultation on how I ought to be executed. Why are you saying? Obviously, this is about how best to execute me. Execute you, John? Whatever for? Were you out every night brawling with the clergy under cover of darkness? Stop making jests at once, Richard. There's no time for them. I'm guilty of treason against you. I conspired with Leopold and Philip. I had you taken prisoner, and in the meantime plotted to obstruct the throne. But the moment word got out that you were in good health, those two-faced lords who submitted to me changed their loyalty in an instant. Hug of Cornwall, the one holdout, had his heart stopped from the shock of hearing of your return. Oh, just that. Just that. Well, where Philip's schemes are concerned, it's nothing new. But that incident during the crusade, when we, who were supposed to be on the same side, knocked down Leopold's banner, that was our fault. Small wonders that he bear a grudge. When my men knocked down the banner, I went so far as to praise him. Even though all this, he doesn't cut us down. What a generous man Leopold is. But now that I had time to think, that might have only added fuel to the fire, while expressing my honest feelings. Look, John, you're still young. It's understandable that you've been taken in by Philip's word. If you did it of your own violation, then it's actually something to be glad about. It would mean that you truly understand me. That by any measure, I'm someone who should never be king. Richard, that's exactly why, John, you don't need to worry about this matter. Stop, don't say it. It should only be natural that you would want to punish me, your flesh and blood, for committing such beastly massacre in a distant land. Don't say any more. There was no sin in your treason. You nothing to atone for, and I, your king, pardon you. Now that concludes the small matters. The townspeople all brought some for the celebration, so let's waste no time in eating. A strange feeling. I'm dead. I saw my younger brother destroy my record for certain, and yet I still have this much consciousness. Where is this place? It's dark and cold for the middle of the city. I feel as though I'm constantly being called by something. I don't even know why I'm standing in such a place. I feel as though I wanted something. As though I had something to do. Remember. As the face of my brother who stabbed at me comes to mind, memories of my sins flood in. Yes, that's right, I remember. It's true, I definitely wish it for this. My body is wrapped in a tingling, burning sensation. My body is trying to change into something else. Not yet. It shouldn't be this way. The flames of purgatory should not be so mild. Ah, the raging fire, please consume this body in this sin. The Avenger Flame. Eh? You? A mindset too tough to wrap my heads around. Zeal with ruthlessness, ferocity with fairness, admiration with faith. Even among my words, there ain't one so aberrant. Though your life, you could be a saber, rider, or berserker, but to have gained the potential to be a ruler, postmortem, that's some shit. Wait, so the horseman's slot got filled by you. Now in this case, were you the arbiter here? This despite having rider in your true name and everything. Seems we live in a time where even the underworld gotta have regulation against false advertisement. Then after that, may as well get to putting up signposts to show the way. This guy you brought along just now could be you brought it to the wrong place. Pain in the ass. If we were wearing a jaguar's helm, I'd have been inclined to give a warm welcome. Surprise he's in the story. Now we're at actual 5th chapter. Richard, back from another adventure. Oh, John. The Count told me the location of some historical ruin. What a marvelous sight it was. I found something strange there. Maybe some monstrosity from the Age of Gods. It escaped me in the end, but the attempt to slay a monster was enough to make me feel like Hercules. You're quite unlike Hercules, brother mine. You would want to be a puppet dancing to a scheming goddess. Imagine having to murder the queen, who warmly welcomed you. Fair point, but with a goddess taking the helm, even I would be likely to fall for the trickery and slay my host. You're a king. You stand on the side that gives the labor rather than carries them out, although you nothing in common with Ephesius. Look, on that angle, I suppose being Hercules is better than being Ephesius. Wait, still. You're arguing a wonderful case. I couldn't agree more. Then allow me to rephrase myself. In this wonderful weather, it will be lovely to Icarus taking to the skies, how high, then fall to your death. That can happen, but do remember, not every fall is guaranteed to be lethal. You would die. I'm serious, don't go jumping off any tower because it suits your fancy. Haha, oh John, you never stop fretting over small deep things. I know what fantastic brothers I have in you, and Geo-Ifri. I could die any day knowing that my people wouldn't miss me. Don't say that, Richard. Don't even joke about death. I shouldn't, sorry, John. But I'm always risking my life to protect the family and the nation. Much like King Beowulf, who fought a dragon for his kingdom. Find an example with an actual king. Very astute there, brother mine. Don't fret, I won't die without a fight. Once I finally find Excalibur, its power will slice all the monsters and enemies, soldiers, clean like a slice of steak. There are rumors going on about you everywhere. The people say you've been possessed by Excalibur and now lost your mind. I wish I were possessed by Excalibur. That sword is more than worth my life. No. The sword you really seek is not Excalibur. There's another sword you truly want in your hand. Richard, your heart desires Caliburn. No, the sword in the stone. Well, what makes you think so? It's plain to see. I always watch you live your whole life trying to slot yourself in the roles of the heroes in the stories. You must, lest you want to be counted among the monsters. You don't want to be someone who hurts the masses. I can even see that impatience is to do so taking hold of you. What you want is peace of mind, isn't it, Richard? If you chosen by the sword in the stone, it would be incontestable proof that you are a hero. John, you are incredible. You were the first to ever realize that. I never brought this up to anyone, and not even our mother pieced together as much as you did. Richard, please stop searching for the sword. Better yet, stop trying to be a hero. Heroes and monsters will always be two sides of the same coin. You know, even the knight and road too will have entirely negative aspects to them. Only Gareth didn't. Even he went unrewarded. His tragic ending amounted to practically a footnote in someone else's story. Two sides of the same coin, then it's a simple matter of who's standing in the opposite base. If on some fateful day I become a hero extinguished from a monster, then can I trust you and geography to put me down? Were you listening? I asked you to cease this talk of death and murder. I implore you, quit your impossible attempts at heroism. I don't care if you do end up a monster. Now hold on, you really should care. You'll be king after me, remember? Yes, I will. A pretty political king, the kind with no need for heroism. If you do become a monster, I'll lock you in life rent so you can't kill anyone. But unlike with the Minotaur, you won't get any human sacrifice. You'll get no meals each day and you'll have to content yourself with that. Sounds serious. Okay, I hear you. If you're committed to be a good king that guides the people, I might be fine with living as a pet monster. I look forward to your regime, John. You're more clever and kind than I. Inaptitude with battle will prove a challenge, but that's secondary. I hope you can get away with not having to go to war. I'll wrap everything up on that front before I become a hero or monster. So you have nothing to worry about, John. You'll be a king in times of peace, beloved by all. Over a decade later. You're no hero. No, or any monster. Only clueless beasts deceiving the world with your instincts. Your beautiful fur had you mistaken for a vassal of a god, but in reality you were the beast ripping the throat of whoever approached it. I should have known the masses are to blame for the same divinity in the man-eating beasts, defining lions and wolves as fierce and powerful in their mythologies. Perhaps by the beast that kills humans is fated to be hunted. Don't be like me, John. I'm truly sorry. A beast now. I want no preferential treatment. Slay me without a second thought. But you're still young. Grow stronger. Strong enough to stop me. Stop romanticizing this. You're only trying to have everything on your own way, Richard. I'm too much of a despicable coward. Ever tried to follow in the footsteps of heroes. I can't bear humanity's steed. Yes, you're always like this, John. That's your strong suit. You're not like all those snivellers who silently take my word for gospel, nor those scheming conspirators pretending to comply. You're always true to your heart, and you never balk at speaking your mind. If you at least had as much as combat talent as our father Marshall or the desert sages, I know I could have fought the most enjoyable battle of my life. And you're always like this, Richard. As you say, you should never have become king. I see, we gathered everything we need to solve this roadblock. We can't be too sure there, but we'll simply have to trust in Duma's power. I'll be returning to Korea then. Remember, Yuki, don't overdo it. There are none of us believe we can afford to leave the Singularity unattended. Big story there. We really tried to deliver Singularity, more on the casual fun side. Oh, before I forget, may I ask you one question, Francis Fridlady? Go for it. I know you can use your illusion to transform into others, but what else can you turn into? If we're talking only superficial looks, pretty much anyone. Like the 4 corrupt and 6 traitors from the water margin. Hehe, easy as pie. Ah, perfect, thank you. Now I worked up my will to punch you. What? Golf punch. Got smacked it. Like I'm flesh and blood mage instead of a servant, so that actually hurts. Great, now you're sentenced to serve for crimes of kidnapping Yuki and using our luckiness to torment him. The next time you pull a prank like that on him, your punch will come with a corkscrew effect. New director. No, let him have this. I know that you're already forgiven Prelati, but it can be bad to borrow resentment and let him get away with his trickery scot-free. Since Prelati will be your new companion in this operation, Director Godor saw that it would be wise to relieve that tension in your heart. Transform Dome 1, huh? I summarized he wanted to do dirty hands so you wouldn't have to, even if it came at the cost of giving himself a violent reputation. You know something, Enkidu. I appreciate the comprehension, but did not no one ever teach that explaining all those thoughts out loud is rude enough to defeat the point. Sitter and Gil did during my lifetime, multiple times even. Don't drop the new director HVs any further. What can I say? Being Chaldea's commander-in-chief sounds rough. But I have to recommend that if you really love human beings, then try being less perverse about it. I'm sure you take no issue with going to hell at the end of it all. But attitude will only hinder you when you're trying to help someone, as you're doing now. Ha ha ha! Now I know more than ever that I could never effectively disguise myself as you. You mean to say my shape is more complicated than the 4 Krupp and 6 traders? You turn into such a fine grown-up. Entering up here. Then try following his example and growing up yourself. Here we are, the point of no return. Are you ready, Key? Time to stop King John. Granted, it took a long time to get here, so let's put all our cards on the table. Mass of energy in the shape of Kugalana's like detected. Let's get this show on the road. This is no Halloween, but we'll make it the wildest rides. Not this cow again. Three of them?
不完全な存在は目にあ元気いっぱいですね。フーリーちゃんとできます。覚えやすく。顕微鏡でも見えない大きさに変えられると思う。できちゃうんだよ、これが。さあ、光より早くアトムにクロスミリアンフット。パズル完成です。やれいしよ。言われなくとも。わかりやすく覚えやすく。どういう意味です？この剣はかの剣僧から教わったもの。銀が最強の名は伊達ではありませんよ。
Go flat. Yes, sir. This goes here, and oh, I seen this one at Mr. Fem's place. Just pull the same trick, this and done. This should hold out, though only 4 or 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's all I need still. You keep following me everywhere I go, don't you, Lana? And Kia chains have spread through the air, entangling Guga and Lana's leg. All yours, Enkidu. Master, the same trick won't work a second time. Ares Stephesis. Here was my name discovered. Nonetheless, commoners must address their king as your majesty. Your use of my name is insulting, profane, utter blasphemy. And foolish moronic, you don't let go of your most valuable tool, the clay doll of the gods. I shouldn't have expected a peasant to know how to move pawns in the end. Your spirits truly are tools befitting only for my real gaze. Cry tears of joy as being used until you break is an honor, and being used until I tire of you is glory. Chaldean nobodies, deliver me the heroic spirits, deliver me that the command spell offer as gifts to the king. Man, you're dying to get your hands on some heroic spirits, huh? Sure, take them. Saber all they are capable of. What? Here I thought I had done the cleaning work, but I see a big piece of trash was left impacted. Verban, where did you appear from? Man, if I was against the real Black Lion, King John, I don't think could keep everyone hidden, even if it's give it my all. Even now, I wasn't hoping to get away with all of them going unnoticed. Goes to show how dense you are. Worse than King John? I can't believe I get to once again cross swords with a group calling themselves Crusaders, even if they're fakes. I'll be defending that Mexican name flat. I expect a fierce battle from the rest of you. Count on me, sir. Since we got all the cookies on the battlefield this time, I'm looking for some great beer and appetizer when. Since we got all the cooks on the battlefield this time, I'm hoping for some great beer and appetizer when we're done. Be more mindful of what you say. It would have been able me funding the ingredients, you know? But fine. That said, the soldier looks awfully gaunt. Are they not getting proper rations? You're hungry, boys. Oh no. How hurt if he proceeds not to feed his troops. Worst king ever. Sir the deers. Let's go, Tarisk. So heavy. What the hell? Where'd these dudes come from? But this is nothing compared to a body punches from Big Sis. Gotcha, Outlofia. There's one extra meaty guy over there. All yours, Madame Cat. Love takes heart up the waterfalls where carps grow into dragons. Target in sight. Today is a fine day for carp soup. This power of your spirits. You have ever in the legendary witch circuit in your minds. Excellent, fantastic, absolute treasure. Treasure to be offered to me. That's what I need. With this at my disposal, I have no need to fear the monster. The Fomomox in the big box, he would elect my entire inn. Greedy men are guaranteed to reincarnate as pretties. There are further no crimes to count hider. They'll allow me to bring Taif trial to order. Go. Are you not joining them, King of Men? Who would be willing to join Buzzard Street Brawl of Riff Raff? The only festivals for me are those which I host. I expect you to have a vested interest in punishing those obsessed with kingship. I expected you to have a vested interest in punishing those obsessed with knightships. You hold no more ground over me, the king who threw away the gods. At least you're self-aware enough to understand you were discarded. If only your mistress were as lovable. At least you're self-aware enough to understand you were discarded. If only your mistress were as lovable. If we're tracing root cause, should we not be casting the initial blame on your journeys? Roads back against human foolishness, human arrogance, and human greed. You must know this better than any other. You've grown quite eloquent, Bull of Heaven. Did the end of your role and blending into the real world do that to you? You have indeed pinpointed the original cause. Do you mean to imply that my friend and I did so while ignorant of the consequences? No, that was a foolish question. You knew it, that there was no future for this planet, one way or the other. You knew it, that there was no future for this planet, one way or the other. Fragments neither other than the arrogance displayed in your summons to this land. Consequently, creating the opening of the black line needed to thrive. I couldn't tell you. What I say also goes for the men below us. I cannot bring myself to care about each channel and every miscreant man naming himself a king with nothing to do with it. Show for it. Yet I do not consider myself a devoid of responsibility. This I took my precious time to descend to this place. Credence named in smites, but it's not over. The king remains glorious. The throne shines unclouded. Will she ever run out? No true king ever lifts a finger. No king would have take to the front lines. My troops are the hands I'll be using to crush you. We can still keep them in check. But we're close to a deadlock. I appreciate a plan to solve the stalemate any moment now. Be eternal toys to my royal shoulders. I will watch over all from the safety. They look to be rising automatically. Was that amount of power of the armor? Assassin. Instance, none stand behind the king. None point blades towards the king's back. An assassin. I instance, none stand behind the king. None point blades towards the king's back. Using cadavers to take blows for you is one. Impressive feat of cowardice. Silence, silence, silence. Insignificant assassin. You mustn't even be allowed to breathe the same air as me. Stop her, my troops. Let the base wrestling. Not another step. I still intend to flee, false king. Hippolyte. What? What was that you say? Woman of the Firme. False. When none are more king than me. Me, the king of all kings. I am king, king. Hippolyte, I think we can be sure that this man is not sane. If he were this direct in life, my kidney would have been its first war. Cruelty of his own violation. I'll limit him here and now. Black Lion, let my prayers to the moon goddess free your soul. The moon goddess, you mean Artemis. Artemis, you don't hurt. My patrons are Almighty Zeus and Hera. The Pherex and his wife, leaks above a Artemis or Ares. Fool, have you not insulted us enough already? I speak only in absolute truth. I repeat as many times as you need to hear it, that you were mere losers, never amounting to anything more. To make that clear, I use my glory time and time again to raise any writings of your tribe. Did I hear that right? You raised our ratings. Ah, yes, yes, yes. I shattered the tablets, burned the textiles, fed your parchments to the pigs. The southerners brought this thing called pepper iris, which I made sure that to discover how to fully corrode. Queen Hippolyte roads to glory is really wiped out from the living world. Did it never occur to you know how unusual it was? Was the only thing of note written about a queen notable enough to own the shafts of Erez? It's all me. The mighty power of the king wiped it all, anyway. It's all me. The kingly power of the king wiped it all away. I was your unnoticed conqueror, making the masses never learn about you. Allowed to lower the rebellious will of any upspreading tomboys taking inspiration from the Amazons. What a horrid approach. How were the Amazons such a treat? You Amazons disturb me merely by existing. You're an eyesore. Defiance. Mexico City states bared their fangs in wars of independence, inspired by knowledge of the Amazons. A nation rooted in defiance against partition. However, to continue their senseless offensive, there is always a risk of them reaching infants. Yet I am king. I was before and continue to be. Chance came my way without me rebring it. Yet I am king. I was before and continue to be. Chance came my way without me moving a finger. My goddess hair revealed to me that my daughter, Adamantine, aspire your treasure, the war stash of Arrest. Already grave, I technically felt my goddess hair working for my benefit. Because of chaos it caused gave me full opportunities to weed out the plaguing together of the Amazons. Eradicating the historical viewpoint of a tribe that often happens even in the real history. It's an effective way to break up their spirits and carries a meaning of extending their domination through many future eras. The weakening of the national identity, reinforcements of cultural domination, and more. Beside everything serving as an example is the rule of terror. For a king of inferior characters like his, greatest fear must have been the vassal countries rebelling. This he saw the uniqueness of the Amazons as a potential manner of rebelling to be overridden by the epic of Hyrcus. I see, so that's how it went. Forgive me, Hippolyte. Penvasilia. I avoided you out of guilt, my sister. I can confirm that all your numerous deeds were wiped out from our neighbors. Your liberation of nearby nations and your monster-style slaying in the Black Sea. Your liberation of nearby nations and your monster slaying in the Black Sea. Your liberation of nearby nations and your monster slaying in the Black Sea. The tale of your battle against a spectral horse and the tribe's welcoming of their head Kalea as your friend. Cities on the path to Troy knew nothing. The cities on the path to Troy. The only surviving tale of Queen, as mighty as you, was your demise at the ends of Hercules. My greatest motivation in the war was to restore your legend after saving Troy. I would have shared your history across the land. I knew that her history was lost, and I failed to restore it. Because of that, Hippolyte, I was ashamed to look you in the eye. Penvasilia. In spite of that, you remember me. That more than suffice, I could never have regrets about my life. Hippolyte. But that is a separate matter, Messiah King. You sent in my sister with your malice and abused of power. This shan't go unpunished. I speak not as queen, priestess, or rogue servant. In the name of Hippolyte as an individual, I will have your head. She's charging up. A solo battle? In that case, I had to use the crap sense from the event. How funny he's the caster here.
なるほど、マスターになるほど、理解した。この一撃で目にも見ろ。行くぞ。我らが真に止められると思うな。良き戦いであった。敵味方双方に感謝を。
Hippolyte, so intense. Well, was I strong enough? As strong as I seemed when you looked up to me as a girl. Of course you were. You have nothing to prove. You're the honored queen of Amazons, and the older sister in whom we take pride. I see, then I can be satisfied with that. As for the ancient record, at any rate, the humanity walking in the present would not be able to tell between truth and falsehood. However, here there is a master who lives in the present, and all people from Gadea. What follows is simply a matter of rebuilding our history, the glory of the Amazons, once more from this place. As a fellow heroic spirit, let me lay those stones with you, Penvasilia. As another honored queen and a younger sister in whom I take pride. Yes, of course. After we wipe out these enemies, I'll be sure to remember every detail. Impossible. Inconceivable, so small a girl, trampled by Hercules. Why? Why does even she, a king? I am the king, so why? No, it was improper for the king to stand up upon the battlefield. I shall leave everything from this point on to the soldiers, then wait for your wretched heads to be delivered. Curse you, there will be no escape. Here, what is this? Won't do no good. With my no phantasm, I tweaked the stage a bit. Took some time, so it got way too close to call. Getting rid of a battlefield from the gods is, impossible, but I can at least make sure you, and only you, don't take a powder. Who goes there? What fool dares to come before me? An offer. Also a gourmet. But for now, I guess I'm an offer, sitting here against someone who's destroyed a lot of writings. Even the great and mighty Oriental Emperor, way back when, burned books in public without shame. That's the kind of policy he called rightful. And yet you raised stories behind the curtains while eyes were on the kiosk, huh? So you must have known what you were doing amounted to no amount low-life persecution. And yet, the moment one of them Amazons ends up your opponent, you make a smug face like, yeah, of course I was persecuting you from afar. Man, whatever hurt of a mightier king? Hiding behind that dark human-shaped urn, you got a lot of nerves to spit at high and mighty lectures with your voice all a-quiver. You knave, rascal, villain, do you mean to mock me, insult me, the king who rules as king of kings? What happened to your vocabulary? King this, king that. Shut your fucking mouth. Silence, shut up. How do you know of it? How do you know of the great urn? How? If anything, maybe you ought to have erased the stories about you being scared of Hercules. Why not we just call Hercules in? Even now, everyone who loves the big guy knows that one by heart, right? You were too busy trying to escape, so no time for that, huh? No, impossible. Improbable, a lie. I am the king, and by no means can the king ever be smeared with disgrace. You! A lowly poet, what would world peddling sun grab hideous note from running your mouth? What can one such as you even do, who are neither a king nor a warrior? What can you possibly do to a king? Ain't it obvious? What? I can play decoy to stall ya. What? Hey, over here, Yuki. It's all ready. We're finished. Flat. They said how when Flat walked through the bounded field solo, a big-ass number of bugs and leaves attacked him. Since the king over there and King John are currently at odds, I figured they smash each other bits real neatly. And in the event they don't, I showed up with an insurance policy. Care Bears. The second part of the heroic spirits were the little dreamer, Lady Pale Rider. Even though Rider was part of the name, it showed up as a ruler, like the backbone that governs this world's depth. Well, the reasons I came here wasn't to babysit Care Bears or even bully a king into submission. So that means it's completed. Surely that human hands could tamper with a divine no-phantasm. Couldn't have done it on my own, so Karia did the heavy lifting. Okay. Fan the throne of the Amazon's clover of glory. Like a rare binary star shining with her martial prowess, the sister star to Her Majesty the Queen. The sash that Your Majesty received from Ares, god of war before whom even the chief god trembles, shall be refashioned and present after passing through many skilled hands. With reverence, I pray that you accept this from the hands of the lowly man of letters as a token of his heartfelt respect. Aha, so you're theoretical manner of speech. Were you ever such a formal man? But I shall accept it with gratitude. What is it? What have you given her? Oh, treasure. I sense presence of a treasure. Its appearance is the same as before, but inside it's different. What is it? What have you done with your sash? I've been thinking, you and Pimp and Celia are demigods, right? Descended off of great Eris. Aye, and what of it? So wouldn't the two of you with your strength combined be equivalent to a single Eris? And if that was true, why can't we destroy the bounded field or the tree's trunk? You can't think of the power of heroic spirits as though they were a series of batteries. Try to see that putting two engines that runs at 200 kph does not get you 400 kph. I can't say the engine analogy holds true either. Then again, sometimes it works with cooking. No, there's something to that. What? It's no Karia. We're gonna end up borrowing a lot of stuff like your facilities, technicians, heroic spirits. So how about we try retailoring job? This is only my impression from mousing about, but if the bond between the sisters is strong, I think we can pull it off. Alright then, let's get started, Master Karia. The stage setup is excellent. I believe I done my part of the dinner it treated me to. First up here, let's have Queen of the Amazons in all their splendor draw open the curtains. I hereby proclaim the gods of Olympus. If the thunder covering the city is the will of the Pharaoh, if it meant to obstruct the will of mankind, even if such divine intention of Zeus, my fury will overcome that tyranny. We are Amazons until the end of time. We fight with pride as defiant warriors. Now we shall leave behind the age of myths and build a new history together with Karia. Ares and world. Ridiculous. The financially bound field over a great infirmary are confronted with dissipated, We can now enter through the gap gouge into the great tree. Amazing! I borrowed a piece off of St. Graph of their Majesty the Amazon Queens. With that, pour in magic energy, seeds, mats, and embers to create this one-of-a-kind of item. You might as well think of it like a one-time trick just for the scenery. I prepare a few more tricks. But whether or not you can seize the momentum depends on your stage and preparation, got it? Thanks, new mess. Leave suppressing the sprouting bows and leaves to us, Go Master. Thank you very much. Aaron, please be careful. I'll go take a little break, okay? Still as for the rest of my job. Ain't much more than catching King John's notice and acting as bait. How unsightly all that fuss simply to break a single divine boundary field. Hi, so you're watching. Aren't you going to lend Master a hand? Nonsense. I told you that all I care is give advice how I choose to while away my leisure time. Anything else is my business. Leisure, so you plan to do something out of fun. As for me, I would like to get a look at some rare plants. Well, hold on, perhaps I should join you, as the occasion is special. I shall also spend my precious leisure time in that place, perhaps by taking in some fishing. Now this one's time gated to tomorrow.